Ever since the new trailer for Amanda the Adventure 3 dropped, people started going crazy. It created chaos. Was Wooly evil this whole time? Were we being tricked by him? Was he always evil? Well, I'm here to find that out. Let's analyze all the Amanda the Adventure games together and see if we were blind to Wooly's true intentions all along, or are developers just hyping on the Wooly's evil theory? In order to do that, we will look through all the theories and supposed evidence for Wooly being evil. Let's start with the common misinformation. The Hamelin logo appears because of Wooly. This has been debunked a lot of times, but I still see a lot of people using it as supposed evidence. We can see in Let's Plan a Trip and Do You Feel Safe tape, despite Wooly being in those tapes, the logo doesn't seem to appear, so this statement is wrong. You would think that if this theory was true, then Let's Plan a Trip where Wooly appears in the end, they would add the logo to imply that Wooly is the reason logo is appearing. But no, in the both versions with and without Wooly, the logo doesn't play, which suggests there is another reason why Hamelin logo doesn't play sometimes. The second evidence people like to say is Wooly's monster killed Joanne, therefore Wooly is evil. Not only this disregards the scene where Amanda has to beg her monster to not kill us, but also kinda implies that Amanda is evil too, because her monster killed a lot of people also. They're not evil. It's just dumb to consider this. Regarding this statement, I would also like to add that Wooly doesn't seem to know about the existence of those monsters. In the When You Feeling Bad tape, the monster attacks us before the tape ends. And Wooly's eyes go dark and he freezes as if he literally cannot see them. So, suggesting that Wooly made the monster attack Joanne would also be false.
Amanda, this has gone too far.
The next statement is that Wooly forces Amanda to follow the script, which is weird. Considering we don't even know the script, we don't know what the episode is about. The only thing we know is the title. So let's use that to see if this statement is true. In the picnic episode that is titled Everything Rots, Wooly wants to go back to the nice picnic while Amanda is talking about how everything rots. And Wooly doesn't seem to like it and even says that not everything rots, contrasting the name of the tape itself. So, not only Wooly doesn't force Amanda to follow the script, it seems that Wooly himself is not comfortable following them at all. Let's take a closer look. Amanda always encourages us to do things on our own, to trust strangers, and go out without telling anyone, to not trust our parents. It is likely because Amanda lost all her trust and doesn't trust anyone anymore, like she said in Do You Feel Safe tape. Amanda doesn't really consider how these advices could negatively impact kids, but Wooly seems to realize that and is actively against those advices.
To be safe, you should never talk to strangers.
But if Wooly works for Hamelin, why would he go against those advices? I mean, think about it. Hamelin wants to kidnap children, so advices like Don't trust your parents, they're not always right. Don't tell anyone where you're going. Trust strangers, talk to strangers. Those advices would clearly benefit Hamlin. So if Wooly worked for Hamlin, he would actively encourage Amanda's advices. So in conclusion, not only Wooly doesn't follow the script that is written on the tape, but also tries to protect children. That is not an evil behavior to me.
Careful, or you'll break it.
And the last one, Wooly controls Amanda. This is the most ridiculous statement by far. We see how Wooly has no control over anything and often obeys whatever Amanda tells him to do. He drinks the clearly spiked drink even though he knows that it's not a good idea to drink it. He just stands there and doesn't do anything while Amanda just turns him into an actual sheep and takes his talking privileges away. Which is funny considering how Amanda always complains how Wooly doesn't listen to her and all Wooly does is talk. So I can see why she did that. If Wooly was evil and was controlling Amanda, why would he let Amanda kill him? He can't really control her when he is dead. Not only that, but it was shown to us multiple times that Amanda is in control of those tapes. And the most clear evidence for that is going to the store tape. When we force Amanda to go to the butcher's and she starts to freak out, saying,
"No! Why can't I stop it?"
Why can't she stop it? And when you are in the store with them, Wooly asks Amanda if she could take them somewhere else, which, if he is in control, why would he ask Amanda to do that? Why wouldn't he do it himself? But it's time for the ultimate evidence that people like to use, and I think is the main evidence that made the Wooly is evil theory that viral. It's We Can Fix It tape. Someone on Tumblr did a very good analysis of this tape, so I would just credit them and quote their analysis because it's a really good analysis. First, we can see Amanda and Wooly fuse together. The representation of how they're literally stuck together no matter what they think about it or how much they hate it. Then we switch to Amanda being scared and holding her skate as a million Woolies are circling around her and repeating her name. It's a representation of how Wooly is constantly trying to distract Amanda. We can see how Amanda and Wooly respond to trauma differently. Their mindset is portrayed in the tape Let's Hunt for Treasure when they discover something pretty bad. Now Amanda is the one who found it. Amanda is the one who dig it out. But Wooly is the one who buries it, saying that burying things is fun, and Amanda saying that sometimes you just have to bury things, agreeing with Wooly, which happens rarely. Then we switch to the scene where there are a bunch of Amandas screaming and covering while a giant Wooly looms over them with a smile on his face. It's a representation of how Amanda is not afraid to show her fear and pain. Wooly acting like nothing is wrong is kind of hurting her and making her very sad and mad. Amanda doesn't think that Wooly understands her pain. In the tape, when you're feeling bad, Wooly is trying to cheer up Amanda by telling a nice story. When Wooly asks our favorite kind of story, if we say tragic or sad, he says that they don't like those kind of stories at all while looking at Amanda. He knows she is sad and thinks a sad story would just make it worse, but we know that's not true. It reminds me of a scene from Inside Out where Joy tries to cheer up Bing Bong but fails. She pulls funny faces, tickles him, and comes up with games, but none of it seems to help. Only when sadness comes and confronts Bing Bong, he feels a little better after crying. Those scenes can be parallels with this situation. Wooly wants to cheer up Amanda by trying not to remind her of sad things, but we confront her with a tragic story that actually helps. The scenes are so similar that even Wooly's and Joy's reaction to it is the same. They get mad that the person was confronted by a sad thing and are surprised that it helped. Wooly also kinda reminds me of Ragada from Digital Circus. They both portray the traits of toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is the act of avoiding, suppressing, or rejecting negative emotions or experiences. This may take the form of denying your own emotions or someone else denying your emotions, insisting on positive thinking instead. They don't realize they are hurting others and themselves by doing this. Now, Regada is doing this because she doesn't want to end up like her mother who abused her. She doesn't want people to see her as abusive and bad. We don't know Wooly's backstory, but we can come to the same conclusion that Wooly doesn't want to hurt others and tries his best to cheer Amanda up, not understanding what she actually needs. And the fact that Amanda hates Wooly is not helping him. We know that it has to do with something Wooly did in the past. In the Do You Feel Safe tape, Amanda tells us that she used to trust Wooly a long time ago but doesn't anymore. People like to use it as an evidence that Wooly is evil, but I don't think that's the case at all. When Amanda says this, Wooly looks sad and guilty. Whatever he did, he either didn't mean it or really regrets it either way. We know that Wooly is longing for the way things were before he broke her trust. In this music analysis that was done by this wonderful person, we can see how the background music changes when Wooly is there. When Wooly comes in, it just sounds like a kind of basic saxophone with higher and lower octaves, with a bit of distortion or some kind of tweaking to make it sound more childish, much like the one at the start of Play My Way instrumental. If I'm not mistaken, Play My Way is canon to this story, but I didn't add it to my analysis because I wasn't sure. Feel free to comment if it is or not.
I know what you've been doing out there. And it's not going
Wooly, let's play!
You can't change anything.
For this one, I will be quoting Tumblr again. Wooly being evil is very clearly debunked, at least in my opinion. People who say he's evil often ignore specific information and moments and don't look at the entirety of his character. In favor of saying those moments don't matter because they could just mean he's tricking us, but if you look at these scenes, it's so clear that he's evil without realizing that 1. Everything and anything can be brushed away with the he's just trying to trick us. It's not a genuine point. It's the same principle as when conspiracy theorists says it's just a cover-up. It's just a trick. Because at the point, everything could be that and it strips the narrative of nuance. There's more scenes where he clearly the victim than him being evil, and when people come to those scenes with a it's all an elaborate ruse. They are inherently stripping the true nuance because it's saying his actions don't have much meaning behind them other than he's evil, so it's a trick. 2. The moment where he does seem to be more evil don't actually inherently mean that. And that is something no one ever on that side of the argument likes to talk about. When it comes to theories and how I personally approach theories, I take a theory I personally believe to be true after some analysis, and then immediately do everything and anything I can do to try and disprove it. I try to think, okay, I think this because of this scene, but what else could this scene mean if I was looking at it differently? I then take all of that and compare it to my previous analysis and do another overall analysis on the plot, the lore, and especially the characters. And doing this means I have to look at a lot of scenes and think, what do I know this scene inherently means, and what do I know isn't inherent? And typically, a lot of those WOOLY is evil scenes aren't inherently malicious, or even too malicious at all, and could mean about 100 different things. What's most important though, it's just looking at the entire context and not cherry-pick information in any capacity. And when people say WOOLY is evil or say he's an adult, that's often what they do. You don't have the choice to ignore any kind of information, but you do have to prioritize some information. What WOOLY says in the trailer of ATA 3 is less useful and reliable than anything else in the games we do have. Not only is it devoid of all context, and context is one of the most important things for theories, so it's something that already very flimsy, but trailers for everything, especially for Amanda the Adventurer, has always been misleading. People need to realize the point of a trailer is meant to get you to play the game, especially for game franchise. They need a reason for people to keep coming back because most people generally won't. This means they'll do anything to get you to play. Throw red herrings, throw things at you for you to play, and considering how the past trailers portrayed Amanda as all malicious and evil, but that didn't happen to be the case, and considering literally everything, then these trailers are not reliable sources of information. They have always been purposefully misleading, so it makes the info from the trailers more flimsy.
So here we have WOOLY, and absolutely nothing at all is going to happen to him whatsoever. Nothing remotely threatening. He's a good little boy, and he will remain in one piece and definitely not endure eternal pain.
The dev literally calls him a good little boy. You can't convince me he's evil. Like, come on guys, look at that sheep. Also, I'm sorry that I've been reading a lot of Tumblr, and a lot of the things that I have read aren't mine. I just want these series to reach out to more people because they're so good. They inspired me to make this video in the first place. In conclusion, I want to say that I don't think WOOLY is evil or bad, but a morally gray character. And I love those type of characters. I'm sure we'll learn more about his character in Amanda the Adventurer 3, which I'm going to play and upload in this channel with no commentary. I'm planning to do it on the same day, so you can subscribe to me if you want to see it. Well, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for listening. Goodbye!